Hi everyone. Now, my name is Sai Dinesh. I'll be training on JavaScript. So this is a live session. So if you have any questions or something like that, just please post it in the chat and let me share my screen. Basically, we will be programming in ServiceNow. So before going into ServiceNow, we need to know basic techniques, how to write a script and all. Okay, like ServiceNow is based out on JavaScript. So we need to first learn JavaScript to code it in ServiceNow. So today we won't be discussing anything regarding ServiceNow. So we'll be learning the basic concepts how to code in ServiceNow. So we'll be learning JavaScript basics today. Okay. So for that, you need to write JavaScript code, right? So where we'll be writing it? So we have different ways where we write JavaScript code. So one way is just on the browser. Okay, just open a Chrome browser or any browser, right click and click on inspect. Okay, and there you'll be seeing this elements console and all. Okay, click on console so that you'll get this view, right? So or you can even have online tool. Let's say I've just searched one. So there's another tool where you write the script here and click on run so that your program will be executed. But this will be dependent on your internet connection, right? Like you need to have an internet connection for that. But if you wanted to run without any, like if you don't have any internet as well, you can do the coding here. Okay. So I'll just show you again. Right click, open a browser, right click, click on inspect and click on console. So here we will be able to write the code. Okay. So basically, if you are learning any language, any coding language, you have to first know the printing statements. Okay. So why do we need printing statement? This whenever we do something or the other, what is the end target? We need to present that particular thing to the end user, right? So that's what is all about. We write the scripting or we develop apps to show it to the user, right? So first, in a scripting language, we need to always learn this uh, alert message. I mean, messages that will be useful for the user, which will be displayed for the user. So in JavaScript, we have few methods by which we will be able to display the messages to the user. Okay. So here we have a function called alert. Okay. So this is one of the method to print it to the users. So how do this print is? So there's just a example. I'll just explain you what is this and all. So this is one of the statement. And if I just write test here and click enter, then you're getting a pop-up saying that whatever I've written inside the alert, that is being printed in the browser. Right? So that's how an alert is used to display a pop-up box. Okay. We also have another method called console.log. Okay. In this, whatever you write, that gets displayed inside this console. Okay. So whenever I press enter here, so the test will be displayed here. So that's console. You are printing it in the console. Okay. So this one, you'll get it as a pop-up, and console.log will be logged, will be printed in the console. Next, we also have confirm. Let's say if you wanted to take some confirmation from the user, okay and cancel. Let's say if you you wanted to make a user to either press okay or cancel, you just need a confirmation from the user whether to move forward or cancel the thing. So for that you will be using confirm. So you just need to ask some question, right? So uh, do you want to continue? Okay, I'll just type that message and then click enter. So if you observe here, the same alert box, but you have the content, and also you have got this OK and cancel. So in the alert box, what do you get? In the if I write the same statement here, I'll just copy this and paste it here. If I write the same statement here, you'll just get OK. It's just that you're alerting the user. That's it. You're not getting any confirmation from the user whether to proceed or not. So if you wanted to ask for a confirmation, then you need to use the confirm function. So if you wanted to repeat the statement that you have typed earlier, just click on up arrow so that you'll get the one that you have typed earlier. So I'm pressing two arrow buttons so that you're getting this confirm, do you want to continue? Okay. So that you're getting this OK or cancel button, right? So let's say you have filled up this particular thing, right? You can just continuously write the script, but let's say you have already completed all this, you've understood, right? So I'll just clear this. So here you have a clearing option. So when you click on that, that will be cleared. Okay. Next. So we also have, let's say if you wanted to get an input from the user, right? So for that we have prompt. We need to prompt the user to input some text or a number into it. Okay, let's say enter some text. Okay, so if I enter that, you'll be getting a pop-up message which says enter some text, and here you can enter something or the other and click on OK. Okay, so that you will be able to just ignore this part. Whatever you have entered, it is just printing up here. So prompt is whenever you want to get a user input, then you will be able to use this prompt. Then you need to use this prompt function. Okay, so one is alert, the other one is confirm, the other one is prompt, right? Alert, confirm, prompt. So these are the things that we have learned, and also we have learned console.log. Console.log, whatever you enter here, it will be printed here, right, in the console. Okay, so I'm just clearing out. So now we have learned how to display anything into the browser, either in the console or in the alert box, right? Now let's go into the actual JavaScript coding. So whenever I'm writing this alert of, we open this bracket, right? So we generally spell it as off, alert of, in the double quotes. Whatever we are just writing it in the double quotes, we are ending that with a semicolon. So always in JavaScript we end a statement with semicolon. Okay, so I'm writing in this way, right? Like alert, bracket open, in the double quotes I'm writing something and closing the bracket. So this is called a syntax. So we call this as a syntax. The same. What is this alert? What is the syntax for alert? If someone asks you, you need to say alert, bracket open, whatever you wanted to print, write that and bracket close, and then give a semicolon. So that's the syntax. So the way we write a function, that's called a syntax. That's it. Okay. What is the syntax for prompting a user? Write prompt, OMPT, bracket open, whatever you want to enter that in the brackets, and then end it with a semicolon. So that's the syntax of of prompt, right? So syntax is nothing but the way you write that particular function. So that's called a syntax. So alert, prompt, console.log, whatever we have written. So that's how you need to write. So let's say I've just written prompt, right? Let's write alert. Alert of test. There's the syntax. So I'm getting this alert message. So let's say I'm just writing this. So, which is giving me an error, saying that it's a reference error, which means whatever you have given, right? So that is not recognized by JavaScript, by the browser. Okay. So always this is called a syntax error, which means you are not writing the code within that particular syntax. What is our syntax? You need to always write alert a and then bracket open, then write whatever you wanted to write and then close it. So this is what the syntax is. Okay. Now, so till now what we have seen, we are printing it in the double quotes, right? So we can even print numbers as well. So I'll be repeatedly using the alert message for the displaying so that you'll understand. So let's say you want to print a number. So I'll just write 1, it will print. Let's say you wanted to add two numbers. Then you can just write 1 plus 2. So that will be automatically added. Okay. So all the arithmetic operations can be done here. Let's say 2 into 3. Sorry, 2 into 2. Okay. So whatever we are writing it here, it is performing that particular operation and it is giving us the result. Right. So the operations can also be performed here. So whenever you want to represent a number, you will be directly writing that within the alert message so that it will be displayed in the alert box. Right. This is with the numbers. You can even write decimals as well. Alert of 1.1 plus 2.2. It will even print that particular thing in the alert box as well. So this will be basically having so many after decimal points. So just ignore that. So we'll be even getting the point values as well. You can even add, multiply, divide, everything. Whatever the arithmetic operations that you can do with the number, everything you can do it with this alert thing. So whatever you enter in between, that will be done with the numbers. I mean, that operations can be done with the alert syntax. Okay. Next. So whenever you wanted to print something, let's say my name is Sai. So that's what I wanted to print. So I shouldn't write my name is Sai like this because JavaScript won't understand what it is. If I just press that, it will just give me an error because it doesn't know what is my, what is name, what is, what is Sai, right? So for that, whenever you want to print whatever the text that you have given, if you want to print exactly the same thing, you need to give that in the double quotes or single quotes. Okay, alert, bracket open, double quotes, my name is Sai, double quotes close. So this is what I wanted to display in the alert box, right? So that we need to place it in the double quotes. Right? So that's what will be displayed in the alert box. So always make sure whenever you wanted to print exactly the same thing, you need to make that in the double quotes. Okay. Alert. Let's say if you wanted to combine two, one is let's say you have a serial number assigned. So how do you write this? You can even write 1 in this way. So it will even print 1. But what happens is if you write this alert 1 plus 1, it won't add up because whatever you write inside the double quotes, that will be printed exactly the same. It won't do any operations. JavaScript won't understand that it need to do some operations because those are in between the double quotes. You see that? So 1 plus 1, the same thing has been displayed here because we are writing that in the double quotes. Right? So if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to write I have total number of bananas I have is, let's say you wanted to do 2 plus 2. So what you can do is, this is a operation, right? And this is text. If you write the same thing, what happens? It will display 2 plus 2. You don't want this 2 plus 2 to be displayed as it is. A operation should be performed, right? In this case, what you need to do is, this is the operation, right? You wanted to do this. So what you have to do is, plus, write a plus there and open a bracket, and then there you write 2 plus 2. So this is the operation and this is the string, right? And here you are opening the bracket and close that particular bracket at the end. So you are dividing this particular text and also the operation 2 plus 2. In this way, we will be dividing, right? So if I press enter here, you see a total number of bananas I have is. So you're not getting a space here. Why? Because you don't have a space here. So whatever we give in the double quotes, that gets exactly printed, right? So because of that, it's not giving us that space. So what do we need to do? Just add a space there, so that you'll get that particular alert message as you want. So whenever you write some code, you have to always assume my output will be in this way. According to that, you need to write your code. Okay. Right. So now we have seen, if we wanted to combine two, like a string and also a text and a number, we'll be using a plus sign, and we'll be dividing that with a plus sign, where one part will be in the double quotes and the other part will be directly given, right? So let's say you're giving alert 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3. You're getting this particular answer, right? 5. Let's say you wanted to change that particular value. So what again you will be doing? You will be writing 3 and 4. So always what is happening? These values are changing. So whatever the activity that we are doing is addition, right? So addition is not changing. Only these two values are getting changed, right? So as these variables, as these values are varying, we will be defining them as variables. Okay. So rather writing 3 plus 4, what we will do is, where x equals to 3, because this value is varying, let me write it in this way. Alert of, let's assume 3 is x plus 4 is y. So we have replaced 3 with x and 4 with y, because these two are varying, right? So first we have entered 2 and then we have entered 3. In this case, we have entered the second variable, the second value as 3 and here as 4, right? So here I have substituted with x and y. Now, if you press shift and enter, it will go to the next line. Okay. So now I need to define this var x and y. I need to say to the browser, stating that there are two variables. How do you say var x is a variable? Var space x, which means x is a variable which is holding a data of 3. And next, var y equals to 4. Okay. So these are spacings you can give or you can ignore. It will consider, because of the code, like to beautify the code, we will be just adding the spaces so that it will be easily readable. Okay. So each line is called a statement. So we divide each statement with a semicolon. Okay. So var x equals to 3 and var y equals to 4. So we have two variables. Those two variables will be varying, because of which we declared this as variables. And then we are just writing that x and y in place of this thing, the numbers. right? So let's press enter. You'll get that particular value 7. So whenever you're writing this particular code, what you need to imagine, there will be two values that I'll be providing. So those two variables values will be varying, right? So I need to declare two variables. One is, you can even declare a, b as well. So let's do it with a equals to 3, and you need to define another variable, right? Have a semicolon, go down. How to go down? You can just press shift enter here, so that you can go to the next line. If you directly press enter, the code gets executed automatically. So don't press enter immediately. Just write a equals to 3 semicolon, click shift enter, click var b equals to 4. Sorry. Now alert of a, let's say a into b. Okay. So now I'll press enter. You see here 3 4 12, right? So that is being alerted here, right? So this is what a number, how we manage as. So this can be numbers, a variable can be numbers. Let's say I'm just saying my name as Aidinesh. So your name will be different, right? So the names will be varying, right? So for that, we can even have that particular text. In coding language, we call that as strings. We don't call them as text, we call them as strings. So strings will also vary, right? So let's say first name. Let's take two variables, which is last name. Okay. So what I've told, whenever you wanted to have a name or string text, something like that, I mean in text format, you need to always give it in the double quotes. So what, my first name is Sai Dinesh. So I'll just write it here. And in the last name, I'll just say D, my last name. Okay. So now I need to print first name space last name. That's what I wanted to print. How do I need to do that? Is generally, what do I do? If I wanted to write it directly, what I'll do, I'll just write Sai Dinesh D. This is how I write in the alert message. If I don't write these two statements, if I just press enter, I'll just get the exact name. But the first name, last name will be varying, right? Because of which we have declared the two variables in which we are storing Sai Dinesh and last name as D. And then I'll alert. So first name. If you write it in double quotes, what will happen? It will print first name directly. It won't print whatever the value it has, because JavaScript is thinking that first name is a string. But here what it is, first name is not a string, it is a variable. So whenever JavaScript tries to alert, you have this first name, right? It will try to search at the top whether first name is there or not in the variables list. It has, so it will print that particular name here. Okay. So it will give my first name. So let's say I need to even give a space there, right? How do we need to do this? I'll just clear it up. I need to even give a space between first name and last name. So these two are strings, right? So to combine two strings, we can combine two strings with plus symbol. We can even add two numbers with a plus symbol. We can even add two strings with plus symbol. Okay. So last name. So first name plus last name. I'll just press enter. So what's giving? It's not giving a space here. Now what do we need to get? We need to get a space. Don't give space here. Don't give space here or here. You should not give, because you don't, whenever you write your name in some form, you don't give spaces, right? You provide exactly whatever you want. So when do we need to give that space? Whenever we are printing it, then we need to add that particular space. Where do we need to add? Between first name and last name, right? In between this and this. So after Sai Dinesh, I want a space, right? So after first name, I need to have a space. If you give space here, it won't work because you need to print a space. How do you do? Write it in the double quotes, space, double quotes, right? So here you have a space. So that will be printed. But this is a variable and this is a string, right? So to combine a variable and a string, you need to use plus. So that first name will be substituted by Sai Dinesh, and then it will give a space, and then it will search for the last name, which is D. It will print that particular same thing. You see here, you've got that particular space. Okay. So in this way, we have first name, last name as variables, and we are concatenating. Uh, if we add up two strings, right? We say that as concatenation. So you are combining two strings with plus symbol. Uh, if you wanted to combine a variable and a string, you need to use plus. If you are combining a variable, a string and a number, then also you need to use plus. Okay. To combine anything in a message, you need to use plus symbol. Just remember that. So the same code can be written with the single quotes as well. Okay. So there won't be any difference. So double quotes and single quotes will be treated same. You see that same result we have got. So in this way, we declare variables. So what is declaration? So we are saying that first name is a variable. So we are declaring the statement. Okay. So this part is called declaring, that we have first name as a variable, last name as a variable. So these are called declaring statements as we are declaring it. And then as we are assigning some text to this particular variable, so this is called assignment. As we are assigning, this is called an assignment statement. So this is also called an assignment statement. So as I've already told you that this is called a statement. So each statement is divided with a semicolon, right? Now, so now what I'm doing, I'm directly writing in the script, right? Like my first name is this and last name is this. Let's prompt the user. Let's get it as an input. Previously, I've told you, right? If you wanted to prompt the particular user, what do you do? Prompt of enter first name and last name also. You don't want it this here. You wanted to prompt it from the user. Enter last name. Right? So whenever I press enter here, it will prompt me to enter first name. So I'll just enter a sign. I'll enter my last name as D. So whenever I press OK, so it will print whatever the thing that I've entered. So as if you go one by one, so this statement is used to prompt the user. So that is getting stored in first name. And there's the second statement which is prompting the user, which is getting stored in last name. And it is presenting a alert message which is combining first name and last name with a space. Let's say you wanted to get a comma there. So what you need to do, just have a comma here with a space, so that after comma there will be a space and then there will be a last name. Okay, you'll get this. So you'll get a comma here and then a space and then my last name will be printed here. In this way, you'll be able to use combining variables, strings, and also variables. So in this case, we have combined variable, a string, and also a variable. Okay. Before going further, I'll just tell you a few things. Unless and until you practice, you won't be able to get it. So I request everyone to practice. Like after completion of the session, just pause the video and then practice it and then come back, because whenever you see such statement, right, like you'll think that this is easy, just writing a alert, bracket open, and doing all these things, right? But whenever you actually write it, then you'll have the issues. Sometimes you will miss writing this plus symbol, because of which you'll get an error. So from that you will learn something, that okay, I didn't put this plus symbol, because of which I got this error, so that I can rectify it in this way. Okay. So always make sure that you learn. So whenever I'm removing that plus symbol, what's happening? It's thinking that this whole thing is a variable, which is wrong, right? So it's giving a syntax error. So it's giving an error here at the third line. So then you will understand, okay, something is there, some issue is there. So you'll then investigate. Then you will learn what is the issue. Then you'll be able to get it. Okay. So always practice after the session. Again, revise the video, pause it, uh, practice alert, console, and prompt, confirm as well. Uh, then you'll be able to repeat the things, like combining numbers and string, and combining variables and strings and all. Next, we have defined where x equals to 1. Next, where let's ignore that. So now we know how to define a variable and how to define a string as well, like a variable as a number, variable as a string as well, and you can even uh, do few other things as well. We'll be discussing that. So let's print a table. Okay, let's say 2 table, 3 table, 4 table we have, right? So let's print that particular table. How do you print it? Let's print it in the console.log here at this place, so that you just can't click OK and all. So we'll just print it in the console log as well. So how do you write console.log of? So you need to print 1x1 equals, sorry, let's print 2 table. 2x2 equals to 2. 2x1 equals to 2, and 2x2 equals to 4. How do you write it? So my output should be like this: 2x1 equals to 2, 2x2 equals to 4, right? So this I need to print. How do I print it? I'll write console.log of. I need to print exactly the same thing, right? So I need to write this particular thing in double quotes. So I'll write it in the double quotes. I'll just remove this. And then I'll write console.log of whatever we have here. Let's write it here. So this is how we write a table: 2 ones, 2 2 twos, 4, right? But we are not doing any operation here. We are just printing whatever we have here. Let's say if I just write 5, it'll even print 2 twos 5, which is incorrect, right? So we need to do the multiplication as well. So remove this 5 and remove this 2. We need to do the multiplication, right? So which is 2 into 1. So 2 star 1 is a multiplication. This is a multiplication that you need to do, and this is a string, right? How do you separate it with plus? As there is a string and this is an operation, you need to separate it with the plus. And here as well, plus 2 into 2, right? So that you will get the exact result. Okay. Let's say you wanted to print till 10. How do you do it? You will write 2 ones, 2 2 twos, 4 2 2 2 threes. Like in this way, you'll just copy paste it and write it, right? you are copy pasting it. Sorry, let's say 3 and 3. So you'll get the exact result. So this is our output, but how many statements we are writing? We are writing multiple statements. We need to avoid this situation. How do we need to avoid? 1, 2, 3 is repeating, right? 1, 2, 3 is repeating. From 1 till 3, it is repeating, and it is repeating by adding 1, right? So to avoid this multiple statements, we have looping statements. How do you write looping statements? So we have 3 looping statements. 2 are important for us. So we'll be using for is a looping method. So we'll write for bracket open. So we need to declare a variable I equals to. So you can declare any variable name here. Okay. This is the syntax. You need to remember this for sure. Okay. So here you need to repeat from where to where. You need to repeat from 1 till 3, right? So what is the first number that you want is 1, right? So just write 1. So first value is 1. That's what you are telling it here. Okay. Then give a semicolon here. And then you need to write till where you want. You want that to be till 3, right? So I value should come from 1, 2, 3. Let's say if we are taking till 10, it should be till 10. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it should be less than or equals to 10. Till 10 you need, right? So from 1 till 10. How you are telling that? By using less than or equals to 10. So I can be 2, I can be 3, I can be... So in between 1 and 10, you want that particular numbers. And then separate it with a semicolon. And then between these two numbers, what is the difference? 1, right? You want, after 1, you want 2. So you need to write I plus plus, which means you are adding 1 to this particular I value. So how this works is, so I'll just clear this up. So you need to open the curl braces here and close it. So inside this, whatever you write, that will be executed till 10 times. So first it will enter here, it will check, it will assign I value as 1, and then it will check the condition whether I is less than or equals to 10. I value is 1, right? So 1 is less than or equals to 10. It will go into this particular loop. So what we will be writing here, console.log of, we are writing a 2 table, right? 2x1 equals to, we have written this already. So 2 into 1, right? So this is what we have written earlier as well. So previously what we have done, we have written 2x2 equals to 2 into 2. That's what we have written earlier as well. Now what we are doing, we have written a looping statement, right? So this one value will be repeating, right? So we don't have to write the statement. So we just want this statement. So now we need to write this from this particular for loop. So what we need to do is, you need to substitute that with I. So if you substitute that with I, what happens is, it will print exactly I in the alert box, not 1, 2, 3 and all. So what you need to do, this is a variable, right, which gets varied. So you need to separate this as a string and this as a variable and this again as a string. So what you need to do is, you need to do this as a string, print exactly the same way. Then you need to write plus so that this will be printed. And then after that, this is what you wanted, right? So just include that in double quotes. So this is a string and there is a variable. What you need to do, separate, you need to write a plus symbol there. So if you observe, this will be printed and I will be substituted from here, and then it will print equals to, and then it will do the multiplication. So here you are writing 1 here, right? You don't want 1 here. You want I here. Okay. So in this way, if you just press enter, so that it will be printed till 10. Two table will be printed till 10. So how it is getting executed? It will print 2x. This is getting printed till here, and then I value is getting substituted from here to here, and then equals to is getting printed, and then plus whatever the value, 2 into I value. What is the I value? 1, right? So this gets printed. Now you might get a doubt that how this is getting increased to 2. So till here, till now what we have seen, till here only we have seen, right? It will assign I value as 1. It will check the condition, and then it will go here. It will execute. Then after executing this statement, it will do this increment, which means it is incrementing I plus plus means I equals to I plus 1. It is incrementing I with adding 1 to I. So what has become? I has become 2 now. After that, it will check this particular condition. So 2 is less than or equals to 10, right? That's true. So again, this gets executed. Now I value is 2. This will be substituted with 2, and this also will be substituted with 2. So this way, it will get executed. So how will, let's go to the 10th statement here. So last value, I value will be 10, right? So I value will be substituted as 10 here, and also 10 here. After executing the statement, what will happen? It will execute this I plus plus, which means 11. So again, it will check the condition. 11 is less than or equals to 10, which is false, because of which it has not executed the statement and it has come out, because of which you are getting this till 10. Now, we are giving this two table, right? So whenever you run this, you will always get that 2 table, right? So I don't want this to be like whenever you write it in the double quotes, right? Whatever you give, that's getting printed, right? So this is called static value, which means you're giving inside the script. You want that, if you want that to be dynamic, which means this should be varying. In coding terms, we call that as dynamic value. So to have this as a dynamic value, what we do? So this is constant, right? I mean, you're getting this as a constantly till 10. 2 1s, 2 2 2s, 4 and all. Till 10 you're getting this as constant, right? So for that, what you need to do is, let's say var x equals to 2. Okay, I'll just define it here, and then rather writing it here, I'll just print it here, x plus. So what now? X will be substituted as 2. X will be print. This will be printed exactly, and I will be, as discussed, that I will be printed as it is, and this will be printed as discussed previously. So if I print enter, it will still give me that particular table. Okay, now let's change the table. Let's change the table to 3. How do you do it? Rather writing it here, you can just write it here, as the table can be varied. I've defined that in a next x, and I've given that particular thing here. If you observe, this should also be changed to x, because x is substituted with 3. X will be printed, I will be 1. You have to multiply 3 with 1, not 2. So this should also be dynamic, because of which you need to give x into I. Now let's press enter. If you see here, you're getting that 3 table, right? So in this way, you will be able to print the tables. Let's say if you wanted to print till 20, now we are printing from till 10, right? If you wanted to print till 20, what do we need to do? You need to print the numbers from 1, but till 20 you need to print. So you just need to give 20. So that you'll get the 3 table, but till 20 you'll be getting. Okay. In this way, you'll be able to print the statements with a loop, right? Next, let's say you can even use a prompt here rather just giving a static value here as well. You can just give prompt of enter a number, press enter. It will ask you for a number, let's say 8 table. So till 8, it will give you the results till 20. Okay. Let's say you don't want it to print it from 1. You want it from uh, 10. From 10 till 20. So what is my starting number? 10. Okay. So if I press enter, I'll just have 2 table. So it will give me from 2 tens 20, 2 11s 22. It won't give me from 1 because I'm thinking that my starting table should start from 10. Whatever the number I give, with that number, the table starting should be 10, because of which I'm getting this kind of result. Okay. So in this way, we'll be able to loop. So previously I've told you that there are 2 looping statements, right? Mainly we'll be using. We even have while loop. So we can convert this particular for into a while statement. I'll just write it here. So where I equals to 10 is there, right? So this for loop is accepting three arguments. So whenever you see this, whenever we write it in this way, we call them as arguments. So for will be accepting 3. One is this. One is initializing. We are initializing, right? So this is initializing. And then here we are checking the condition. And here we are incrementing the value. But for a while loop, we only have one thing, which is condition statement. So which should be I should be less than or equals to 20. So this is what I've given here, right? You have this initializing statement, right? Give that initializing statement at the top and then open the bracket, close the bracket. So you need to write this console.log inside this, and then this I++ is there, right? That you need to write inside this particular while statement itself. So how this will be executed? Let's see. So now the prompting will be as usual. You'll be prompting for a number. And what is the starting table that you wanted to get? Let's say from 1 or from 10. So I'll get it from 1 until 10. I want it. So there you will be. So while will be a small letter. W will be a small letter. So from 1, I want it till 10. So I should run from 1 till 10. Okay. So I value is 1. 1 is less than or equals to 10. This is true, right? It will enter this particular loop. It will print this particular statement. After printing it, it will increment I with 1, which means I will be incremented by 1, which is 2. Again, it will check the condition. 2 is less than or equals to 10, which is true. Again, it will execute this particular statement. And then it will increment the value by 1. So in this way, we'll be able to achieve the same thing with a while loop as well. So I'll just enter 6. So I'll be getting all the tables here. Right? So a for loop can also be used or a while loop. It depends upon your requirement. Okay. So in this way, you will be able to print by using a loop, and you have looping is done. You have conditional statements. So let's say if the result is 2, then print it as an even number. Okay. Let's say var x equals to 2. Alert So let's say even and odd numbers. So whenever it is divisible by 2, then it's an even number. If it's not divisible by 2, it's an odd number, right? So to get an even number or odd number, what we generally do is we write 2 by that particular, whatever the value that you give by 2. So whatever result that you get, that should be, the remainder of this should be 0. Whenever the remainder is 0, which means that it is divisible by 2, right? So whatever the result we get, if that's equals to 0, then we say that it is an even number, right? So you won't be using, to get the remainder, you won't be using by, but you'll be using percentage here. Okay, you'll be using x percentile 2. Okay, so if I write alert of x percentile 2, so this is an operation, right? So it will give me the remainder. You see here, the result is 0. I'll again execute and try to execute it with 3. As it's not divisible by 3, what will be the remainder? It will be 1, right? So the remainder is 1. If I give any odd numbers, if I take 7, it will give me the remainder of 1. So what we are saying here, whenever the remainder is 0, then that's an even number, right? So how am I spelling it? If the remainder, where are we getting the remainder? Here we are getting the remainder, right? So how we need to write it is, if the remainder, how do you get the remainder? X percentile, let's say as we are checking the even number, we have to divide that by 2, right? If x percentile 2, which means 7 percentile 2 remainder is 0, right? This is what we are spelling it as, right? So rather writing is, you need to write double equals to, which means we are comparing this particular statement, this operation, with 0. Is this 0 or not? If that is 0, then you need to print. So whenever you are writing any conditional statements or looping statements, you have this curly braces open and close. Okay, inside that, write that particular statement, what has to be executed. If x percentile 2 equals to 0, then I'll just write console.log of, so I just need to print this number is even, right? So what number is even? Whatever the value is there in x, that value is 0. That value is even, right? So x is even, I need to print. So what I need to do, I need to write plus, as I'm just printing a string. So I'll just write double equals to space is even, right? Oh, sorry. So this is a string and there's a variable. I've just separated with a plus and I've written this. Okay. Next, else, if that is an else, if it's not an even, what will be the other thing? It will be an odd number. Else, write it bracket open, bracket close. So as we are saying that statement, if x is divisible by 2, what is divisible by 2? The remainder is 0. That's what we have written here. If that is divisible by 2, then print that as even. Else, so I'll just close this if and then write else, open bracket and close bracket. So this else part will be executed. What needs to be done? Console.log of x plus double quote start. Why am I giving this space is, if I don't give this space, what will happen is you don't get that space in the alert statement. So I'll just give here. You see here, 7 is odd, but you're not getting a space here. So why you're not getting? Because you're not printing that particular space. Space is also a string. Always remember, space is also a string. So always, if you wanted to give a space, never give it here. How many ever spaces you give, it will never print. Okay, you have to always write that particular space inside the double quotes so that it will be printed as is. right? 7 is odd. Now, let's give it as 6. 6 is an even number. So always remember, whenever you are pressing enter, you need to execute it manually with your brain. You just need to think that 6, okay, 6 percentile 2, which is 6. If I divide it by 2, I get the remainder as 0. Then this statement should execute, not this. So if this statement is executing, your script is wrong. Then you need to debug and resolve that particular issue. So always make sure that before executing the script, you need to have the expected result. Okay, you see this 6 is even. I'll just clear it out and then I'll just write 9, which is an odd number. It's giving me the correct value. Now I'm changing it here, right? Let's prompt it from the user. Prompt, please enter a number. It's prompting. I'll just enter 15, press enter. 15 is odd, right? So in this way, you'll be able to prompt it from the user and then evaluate that input, then perform whatever the actions you want. So it's called if else statements. So now you have three numbers. Let's say not three numbers. Let's say you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, right? So let's say Monday is Monday will be giving as 1, Tuesday as 2. So the user will input 1, 2, or 3, like whatever the number they'll be entering. They need to get the day of that particular number. Let's say 1 will be Monday, 2 will be Tuesday, 3 will be in that way. Okay. So for that, what you'll do, let's say var x equals to, let's prompt it from the user. Please enter a number between 1 till 7. Okay. So we'll be asking the user to enter from 1 to 7. If the user is printing 1, then we need to print Monday. So what I'm saying, if the user enters, if the user enters, where the user enter is getting stored, it's getting stored in X. When it is stored in X, if it is Monday, sorry, if it is 1, right? So what did I tell? You should not write is, you need to write double equals to. If X double equals to 1, if X equals to 1, never write X equals to 1. This is called an assignment statement. Okay, you're not checking the condition. You need to always use double equals to check the conditions. Okay, if X equals to 1, then console.log 1 is Monday. So whatever they enter, X plus is Monday. So let's print this. Okay. If they enter 2, what will happen? If I just write else here, what will happen is I can't decide, right? Like what they enter. Let's say if they enter 2, how should I decide? If they enter 1, it should be Monday. Or you're saying this or, right? So or if you're saying that if as well again. So then what you need to write is if X equals to 1, print this, else if X equals to 2, then print this particular thing. Let's say is Tuesday. You don't need to change this X because you're already checking. This 2 is Tuesday, right? So in this way, you'll be able to write all the other statements as well. You people just write it. I'll just paste it here. So Tuesday, I'll just write it here. So whenever I'll prompt it after entering Saturday, Sunday also you can just write it. While practicing, you people write. So I'll just press enter. I'll just press 3. So you're getting this 3 is Wednesday, right? Next, I'll again enter this. So I again enter 2. So 2 should be Tuesday. That's what I'm getting it as output, right? So in this case, if you wanted to check multiple conditions, if the variable is this, then uh, print some text. Okay. As I've told you, just include that in a curly brace. Why it got executed is if you only have one single statement, uh, then you don't have to write this curly braces. But as in the initial stages, just make sure that you write this curly braces for each case. Okay, so that you will be able to, if you are writing two statements, then it will be helpful for you in the initial stages. Okay, so always use this double braces while opening and ending of an if or else if. Okay, so at the last, what you need to do, else if they are entering eighth number, we will be only giving till 6 4 5 6 7, right? If they enter else, what we need to do, 8, or if they are entering 0, what you need to do, console.log of input should be between 1 and 7, right? So I'll just press enter. I'll just print enter 9. So 9 is not there in the condition, so it should not execute. So see here, input should be between 1 and 7. So if you're saying here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're having multiple if-else conditions, the code visibility will be a bit clumsy. Okay, because I just have single statement, it is easier to read. But if I have multiple if-else statement, it will be a bit confusing to read. Okay, so to avoid that particular situation, what we have is, we have switch. Okay, so how do you need to write a switches? So same thing, but we'll be using a switch statement here. So we have, in the conditional statements, we have if else, which we have just used, and you also have switch statement. How do you use a switch statement? Is switch of x. So we'll be passing an I'll just open and close. So whenever you're writing such codes, right? So whenever you're writing any conditional or looping statements, first open and close the bracket so that you won't get that error. Let's say I'll write the entire code and I'll just print enter. It's not getting executed here. Basically in Servicenow, what happens is when you save that particular form, it throws you an error, syntax error, because you did not close this particular bracket. So always make sure that whenever you're writing the script, always open bracket and close bracket. Okay. Now we need to check whether x is 1 or not. So we'll be writing cases here. Case 1, which means x value, if it is 1, then print console.log of x, same statement, is Monday. Okay. Next, let's say if it is 2, then print Tuesday. But in switch statement, we generally have a break statement here. Because whenever, if you don't use a break statement here, what happens is, this case 1, if the case 1 is satisfied, this case 2 will also get executed automatically. It won't check whether this gets satisfied or not. So always remember, whenever you're using a switch statement, always use a break after a case. Okay, let's do it in a different way. Let's say they enter Monday and let's give 1 or 2, like that. Okay, please enter day of a week. They will enter something like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, like that. Then we need to check. So we'll be passing that into switch. Here it should be Monday. So you should not write Monday here. Remember, whatever the user is entering, that is a string, right? String should always be in the double quotes. If that is Monday, then print X is 1. I'll just write 1 here. I can even write 1 here or outside. As I'm not doing any operations, I can just write it inside as well. Okay. Now, if it is Tuesday, then console.log X is 2. Okay. In this way, I can write. So let's say they have entered some other thing. You people write from Monday till Sunday and just check it out. Okay. Let's say if they are entering beyond that particular text that you have given. So you need to even print a error message, right? So you have, for that, by default, print this if the condition doesn't satisfy. What you need to do, console.log input is incorrect. I'll just write this particular statement. Now I'll just press enter. It is asking me, please enter a day of a week. I'll just enter Monday and I'll press enter. So it's giving me Monday is 1. So what exactly is executed is, so it prompted and then it has passed that particular value into the switch. So the switch will be checking which case is matching. So this case got matched. So this is getting printed and this got broken here. Okay. Let's say I'm entering some text here and I'm pressing enter. So it says input is incorrect. Okay. In this way, we'll be able to write. So let's say if I don't write this break, you see here Monday is 1, Monday is 2. This statement also got executed. So because of which, whenever you're writing switch and switch, always use break with the cases. Okay. So we have covered declaration of variables, how to declare a variable, how to use a variable, and different types of variables, like we have seen numbers and strings. And then we have gone through different alerting statements, and we have gone through looping statements for while, and also we have gone through conditional statements, which are if else, and for. Okay, practice all these so that tomorrow's session will be even more easier for you. Okay, make sure that you practice. Pause the video after the alert statements. Alert something or the other. Think beyond and print something or the other in your browser, and then you'll get a confidence that you're achieving something. Let's say you have just done the multiplications, right? Do the subtractions, do multiplications, do some multiplications and additions, combination of those, so that you'll get a confidence. Okay, I can add anything in an alert statement, combine a string with an operation. Okay, in that way you'll be able to learn. Make sure that you practice so that tomorrow's class will be more helpful. Thanks, everyone. And one more thing, if you have any questions, just post it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you.